Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Milk Minutes. My name is Demia Tyler. Thank you for joining us. And if you're joining us live, thank you, because it is a beautiful Monday. So I know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us here at the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. And we have some special guests for you today. But before we introduce our special guests, just want to tell you all a little bit about the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding and what we are and what we offer. The Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding, sometimes we call it the CUB, is Healthy Start's initiative to improve breastfeeding rates among our Black mamas in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. And so we provide a number of different services and programs. We provide 24/7 on-call breastfeeding support via our latch line. You can reach out for that support by calling 412-544-2022 and select option 1. So if you ever need breastfeeding support, just give that phone a call and that number a call. And there are a number of lactation professionals that are ready to support you. We also offer breastfeeding education. We have Breastfeeding 101, which is getting our families prepared to be able to breastfeed successfully. You get to know the process of how breast milk is made, how to maintain your supply, how to latch your baby, and when you should reach out for help. Because sometimes it's like, is this normal or is it not? And we cover all of that in Breastfeeding 101. Soon this year, we'll be launching our Pump It Up class. So we'll be getting folks prepared to be able to pump and maintain their supply successfully, because that's another breastfeeding journey. We also offer our Milk Minutes, which is our monthly community education series. We offer the education through Milk Minutes Live. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just sign into Facebook to join us. And so with that, today, I'm going to introduce our two special guests. And they're guests now, but you guys will get to know them over time. We have Ashli Hall and
Hello.
Tige Hodges.
Hello.
Hello, Tige. Hi, Ashley. Before we dive into questions, I just want to say really quickly, I just want to share really quickly who you are. So, Ashley Hall is our new Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding Program Manager. Eh,
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'm so glad to be a part of the Center for Urban Breastfeeding, and I'm looking forward to continue pushing breastfeeding and increasing the duration and initiation of our breastfeeding rates in Black women.
Thank you, Ashley. And Tashay Hodges, she is our Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding Program Assistant. She's our backbone. She gets the things done for us.
Yes.
Hello. I'm very happy to be on this meeting with you all this evening.
She's laughing because I mess with her all the time. And she's like, if you don't leave me alone, Demia. But she does come through for the cub. So really quickly, want to get to know you guys a little bit through today's session. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to really get to know Ashli and Tashay, find out a little bit about their breastfeeding journey, what brought them to being lactation professionals, and what we see for the future of the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. So I'll start, and I mean, either of you can answer this, but so there are different types of lactation credentials, and both of you have different lactation credentials. Can you share just a little bit about your lactation training and what exactly that means?
Yes, I can go. I am a certified breastfeeding specialist, also known as a CBS. I am currently training to become an IBCLC. So with that, I had to take 500 hours of clinical experience. I had to go through background training, so the theory of it, and then 500 hours of clinical experience, what I got from both Healthy Start as well as McGee for that experience. And, it has certainly been an awesome experience and joy to obtain and gain all this experience that I have, over the past year or so.
500 hours. Woo! So I'm a CLC and I did 56 hours of classroom work. So 500 hours of clinical experience. It sounds wild to me.
That's extremely impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ashley, can you tell us a little bit about your training and experience?
Yeah, so I am trained as a certified lactation counselor. I have not taken my test yet. I am studying and it's coming very soon actually. And my scope of practice is just being able to assist moms through some of those smaller problems. Those anything larger, I'll just give to Tige.
Yes, escalation.
Yeah, escalated right to Tige with her 500 hours.
Yes. Put those 500 hours to use.
Lordy.
So you guys both have the professional experience, but you also have the personal experience. Can you share with us a little bit about your personal breastfeeding journeys?
Sure, I can. So my breastfeeding experience was very minimal. As a young mom, I did not know what I was doing, didn't have much support or guidance. So I initially started to breastfeed when I came home. I had issues with latching and also found that it was easier to pump. So with the limited knowledge that I had and the pump that I had, I began to breastfeed, or excuse me, pump and then supplement with formula, eventually just shifting right over to formula.
Yes.
So I probably had about 3 months of breastfeeding experience.
That's
That's
beautiful
still
and that's
good. Yes, it
plenty.
is.
Yes.
Certainly. It
Yes.
is.
How did your experience impact your desire to want to provide breastfeeding support?
Well, my experience, I think about as a social worker before coming over to the CUB, I think about many of the moms that I've worked with who just didn't have the knowledge. It's not that they didn't have the desire to, but it's just they didn't have the support. And thinking of my own experiences, how my outcome would have looked differently if I just had support from another Black woman and just the conversation and the reinforcement and even the reassurance that yes, it's not as easy as you think it is, but it is necessary and you and your child can both benefit from it.
Yes. Yes, that sometimes that's all the families who call into the CUB really need is some
Mhm.
encouragement, a listening
Mhm.
ear, some reassurance that like, yeah, you can do this and remember your why. So that's
Mhm.
really beautiful that that led you back to be able to provide that level of support.
Thank you.
I agree.
And to Shay, Miss 500 Hours, tell us a little bit about your breastfeeding experience.
This nickname is so tickling. But I have two little boys who I breastfed for 16 and 18 months. And I'll say, well, my second time around, in the beginning, there was challenges, but it was more so because I was accustomed to breastfeeding an older baby. So I was like, I don't have to do anything. He's gonna do this. And soon I found out, like, no, you gotta revert back to the beginning. You actually have to do it.
You gotta
And then
start
after
over.
that, yes, like all the way, rewind. I didn't think that. I thought it was just a resume, but it wasn't. But after that, we were able to go and had no issues, thank goodness. But with my eldest, it was a challenge. It was a space of unknown. No one in my family has breastfed before. So everything, the saying of trust the process, that's all it was. And I was like, all right, we're on this ride and you got output, you're eating, I mean, your swallows. It must be okay. So, we had certainly a bunch of different hurdles that we encountered throughout, but I'm happy that, mentally I decided to stay in it and continue on because I would definitely say that was an experience on its own, like the mental aspect of it.
It's so mental. And I
Mhm.
definitely relate to he got output, so it must be okay. I was counting those poopy diapers like crazy. Like, okay,
Listen,
I can't see the milk, but there's diapers, so
listen, something's working, right?
something's
Something's going
working.
in, so something's coming out. It's
It
something's
stinks in
happening.
here, so something's working.
Listen, I
So,
agree.
what was the most surprising part of your journey?
Oh, I'll say one of the many surprising aspects things that had occurred was a nursing strike that my eldest went through. I did not expect that to happen. He was maybe 3 months, and he would not latch. He would not latch. He would not eat. He would not nothing. And I had no clue what to do. His father was online Googling, like, all right, so this is what it appears to be. I'm like, okay, well, how do we fix this? Like, I get that's what's happening, but what do we do? Because sir has not eaten, so he needs to eat. And oddly enough, he, interesting enough, he hung from over my shoulder, and for whatever reason, the child latched
Upside down.
upside down,
Lord.
upside down, and
Okay.
that was a shocker, surprising, and I was very clueless as to what happened. But after that, we didn't have no, like, as far as actually latching, we didn't experience a nursing strike again. So I'll say that is certainly one of the most surprising and shocking experiences that I've encountered. Um,
Listen,
yeah, it was interesting.
what these babies want.
Yes, yes. And he is still very strong-minded. Like very.
It was foreshadowing.
Uh-huh.
It was
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Yes.
You got a little
Listen,
glimpse of his personality.
that was it. Yes. And he is still like, if I'm not for this, it's not happening. Figure something else out.
Unless it's upside down.
Get-
Can I just say real quick before I go on to the next question? Okay, for fatherhood support. Father support is just so it just really smooths out the process. So okay,
It
Dad stepping
does.
in and Googling and holding the baby upside down.
Ma'am, he was researching, Googling, them fingers was on that phone moving. Okay. He was like, we want to figure something out. And sure enough, because I was like, I don't know what to do. He gotta eat. Like, there's something ain't right here.
Oh, goodness. So can you tell me a little bit about how did your journey and your experience lead to your professional career in providing lactation support?
Most certainly. I'll say, well, I did have some support throughout my breastfeeding journey. It wasn't the support. I had some family members who did not and still do not understand breastfeeding. You know, they're just like, that ain't for me. I've had folks ask like, oh, you want to go upstairs and breastfeed, or oh, hold on, wait, your baby needs to eat. You need a cover, all these different things, right? And it's like, to not have, I guess I was more so looking for that professional champion support of sort, to be able to like, okay, these are the steps and the stages that you're going to go through. And these are also how to combat, family who are just not informed about certain things, So for me, it was, I want to be that person for someone, I want to be that person to where it's like, well, no, these are the steps that are happening. And no, what you are doing, continue to stay in this. Like, don't allow your family, because some people do stop breastfeeding because of family influence. So to be able to be that support and that help and to champion someone on throughout their breastfeeding is my intent and so I'm certainly that I want to continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you. And I mean, both of you, like, how do you feel like working for the CUB is helping you to achieve, like, what does your day-to-day look like that makes you say, like, okay, I'm doing exactly what I set out to do related to helping people with breastfeeding?
Yeah. One of the things is when having the breastfeeding 101s, like talking to these moms and listening to their stories and hearing different things that they've experienced, but also like them knowing like, okay, I got support. Like I have a group, I have a team that is readily available to be able to support. And also in regards to like when completing intakes, also like just the whole every step that we have in place for these moms and like them actually hearing like, oh, there actually is a person that I'm here to connect with. Like this is, and again, most importantly, it's a Black woman. It's someone who looks like me, someone who has experienced very similar things that I've experienced. Like that, I get you, girl, type of, connection,
Mhm.
So that certainly provides that on a daily.
Yeah, and I have similar experiences when we get those intakes and we get to talk to the moms directly and also get to know them, get to know their history and what their goals are as far as their lactation plans. That brings me much fulfillment throughout my day. And then also through conversation, you get to hear how Healthy Start can help them in other ways outside of just the Center for Urban Breastfeeding. So that brings me a lot of joy.
Yes. that multidisciplinary array. We do have so many programs that support a breastfeeding mom. So it's not just breastfeeding. Just breastfeeding support alone isn't the only thing that breastfeeding moms need in order to be successful in their journey. So it is amazing to be able to support the connecting people to fatherhood is a really good example. Like, how do we make sure the fathers have the education to show up and continue to support? And that's such a determinant regarding whether or not you're going to be successful. So
Yeah.
that's a good point, Ashli.
Mhm.
So you guys both mentioned how people either did or did not support you and how you wanted to be that support person to other people. Can you guys share who some of your breastfeeding heroes are?
Yes, I can. So my breastfeeding heroes honestly are my coworkers. Watching these wonderful women that I work with prioritize breastfeeding, whether it's latching the baby while taking a call or pumping while they can on break, or even walking around with their wireless pumps. Those are my heroes. Those are the ones who really stuck out to me to know that like this is a priority and you don't have to there's always a way if you really want to make things happen. And so those are really my heroes. I've seen so much over these past 2 years at Healthy Start, and it really opened my eye up to how necessary breastfeeding is and how it is something that you can manage while you are working.
Yeah, no, that's so true what you said about it being a priority, because it is a journey.
Yeah.
It is. I saw somebody post this today and it's so real. It is natural, but it is challenging. It's a journey. Like, you have to prepare for it. And so, yes, if it's a priority, then you can do what you can do to make it happen. Got staff walking around sounding like robots because they got the wireless and the t-shirt. Okay.
Exactly. You go to give them a hug and you feel the pump.
Like, oh, sorry, I got my pumps on.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yes,
nice.
I certainly agree. Co-workers truly. Also, though, I would say like my heroes will also be these moms, who on a daily, like, or again, just like I'm going, keep going. And even for the moms who, most importantly, who experience challenges, like real challenges, um, continuously receiving or obtain mastitis, things of that sort, who continue to still breastfeed after the fact, though, right? Like those moms, so where it's like, wow, breastfeeding is a very selfless act. So the fact to where it's, even though you've experienced a bunch of different challenges, it's still invested in this for my child.
Yes, Tige. The moms who sit through that 2-hour breastfeeding 101 because they want to be prepared to be able to breastfeed. The moms who
Yes.
call the CUB because they can
Mm-hmm.
easily just be like, well, I'm experiencing it, forget it. But
Yeah,
they're like, let me get some support so that I can nourish my baby in this specific way.
most certainly. Yes.
Definitely the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys are really the face behind the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. Y'all are the nuts and bolts that keep the program running. What are your hopes for the Center for Urban Breastfeeding?
My hopes are just to continue to increase access to breastfeeding, to education, to creating a community, and also to normalize breastfeeding.
One of her milk monsters.
Yes.
Who's that, Mom?
I don't know. Please. Thank you. Lordy, the kids. But I'm sorry, can you ask your question again?
Yeah, what are your hopes for the Center for Urban Breastfeeding?
Yes. So my hopes is, one, how you had mentioned the addition to the courses, so pump it up. So certainly the success and, continuation of us evolving and, bringing more services, but also continuing to grow, like continuing to provide support to our moms and our families.
Yes. I love what both of you said, evolution and community, like just
Mhm.
continuing to provide that support. Love it. I mean, it's really connected to like, what are your hopes for Black breastfeeding?
I'll just say to be able to continue to support and increase, excuse me, certainly not ever decrease, but increase, breastfeeding durations, to allow families to know like they are supported.
Absolutely. For me, again, it's just normalizing it. I think thinking from my own journey that it I just didn't have enough support. I didn't have enough examples. I didn't have enough to make me want to push through all the challenges that comes along with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that normalizing is really important. I remember when I first graduated high school, I worked with a woman who was breastfeeding her 3-year-old, and I thought it was so bizarre. Like I was like, wait, what? But now I'm like, oh, breastfeed this baby so you feel like it. Like,
Girl,
Exactly.
so
yes.
that normalizing it was like, it's so real. Like, we really need to make sure that folks know that it's a normal way to feed your baby.
Yeah.
So what can people look forward to in the next year from the CUB?
In this next year, we will definitely have more growth, more expansion. We're currently training, I believe, 6 breastfeeding peer support specialists. They're being trained by the one and only, the great
Yay.
Ngazi. So that's exciting. And beginning June, they'll be able to provide support and work that latch line. So we have that 24-hour coverage. So when moms need the support, it's available. So that's very exciting. And then also, I was mentioned earlier, was the pump it up classes.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah, that's really exciting that we have more lactation professionals coming on board. So that
Yeah.
means now the CUB has peer support. We have, Tisha, you said you're a CBC,
CBS.
CBS, we have CLCs and IBCLC. So we got a diversity of lactation support at your fingertips. You just call the number and you can get some support for whatever breastfeeding issue you got. And I love it.
All Black women.
Yes. Tisha, what about you? What can the people look forward to?
I really second what Ashley said. Just the expansion of our team. To know that there's more support readily available to them. And then the growth, of the program itself, of our community for families that are joining the program.
Okay. So people got a lot to look forward to in this next year from the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. All right, so we are getting ready to wrap up, but before we do, what is one thing, one message, one word of advice, one program, what's one thing that you want to leave for our breastfeeding moms who are listening in?
That you don't have to go through breastfeeding alone, that even though you're experiencing a challenge, there is support. There are people with lived experiences that are going to be able to guide you through, and it's a free service. You can just simply make a phone call and have someone available to help you work through that so that your child gets the most nutritious form of food, which is your own milk.
I would say grace is one of the advices that I tell all the time. Have grace for yourself, have grace for the baby, have grace for the breastfeeding space as a whole itself, right? I think we all have this imagery as to what breastfeeding is to look like and how it's to be, whether it's from previous experience, family, friends, others' experience. We're like, okay, this is what it's to look like. But that is not always the case. That's not the case by no means at all. So, certainly offering grace and patience for it. That's what I would certainly say. And then for families who know someone that is having a baby, call and sign up for our services, enroll. Let us support you.
And you want to talk to Ashley or to Shay. So now you see who you talk to when you call. It's real people. We provide you that support on demand. Thank you so much, ladies. I just want to highlight that moving forward, Ashley will be the host of Milk Minutes. Ashley, can you give us a little preview about what are some of the things that we'll be bringing to Milk Minutes in the coming months?
Oh, wow. In a couple months, we'll be talking about weaning and what that looks like. We'll be talking about milk or donor milk as well and how our community can benefit from that. We'll be talking about diet and how your food can impact your supply. There's a lot to come.
Okay.
There's a lot to
Okay.
come.
I like that weaning one because oftentimes, we talk about the journey, but we don't talk about how to end the journey.
Right.
So, yeah, and there's art to it.
There is.
There's an art to it. So thank you so much, Ashley, and thank you all for tuning in. Again, we are the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. This is the Healthy Starts initiative to improve breastfeeding rates for the Black community in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. You can reach us for your on-demand breastfeeding support at 412-545-2022, option 1. And I realized I said the number wrong earlier, y'all. It is 545-2022. Sorry, I messed it up trying to recite from memory. So give us a call if you need support. Give us a call to sign up. You can also follow us on a Healthy Start Facebook page and our Healthy Start Instagram, where we post about breastfeeding throughout the month. Thank you for joining in, and you all have a great day.
Enjoy. See
You
ya.
too.